Hey everybody, it's Brandon with RPG Overviews, and I have a free product to show you today. It's on DriveThruRPG, and it's by Venture Satanas. It is Chalt X cards. So I hope you've checked out my Chalt videos. I'll have a link at the end that you can check out the first Chalt book of the three that are available. But he's created Chalt X cards, and this is obviously a picture of one of the cards that he's making. It looks like wood. This almost looks like jam and stuff. Obviously, the same colors, kind of the blood that's all throughout the Chalt books. But I'm sitting there, I'm thinking at it like, is that like hard? Has that hardened up? But I think what would be even better if it wasn't, if it was constantly slimy and these were absolutely hell to work with. Like they just got all over the place, got all over your hands. That would be very Chalt-like in my opinion. But there it is. So there's only a couple pages. It's going to talk about the origins of how he came up with them. He's talks about X cards, the safety tool where a player can stop the game in its tracks by holding up a card with an X on it, assuming the content is triggering. They were mentioned in social media. He chimed in with an opinion, and an individual who shall remain nameless suggested I come up with my own X cards that actively promote the sort of stuff I like. So that's not a bad idea. He laughed at it at first, apparently, but then he said he gave it some serious consideration. He said, why not give it a try? So after 4 sessions of using them, they proved successful. They objectively enhanced the game. So how do they work? A player stimulates one of his available Chalt X cards, and then the GM does his damnedest to accommodate the card's designation in either the current or upcoming encounter, scene, or moment. So the thing that I take away from that is this is within the session. This is not at the end of the session, your little wrap party you have with your friends about how the session went and what you'd like to see going forward. So this is something you want to change within that session. And so obviously these are made for Chalt, and you could probably make your own for other games. But Chalt obviously has 8 designations that kind of solidify what it's about. Eldritch, Gonzo, Science Fantasy, Post-Apocalypse, Humor, Sleaze, Pop Culture, and Grindhouse Exploitation. Those are the bases of that concern Chalt. Now, I would love to see Venture Satanas' definitions right here of what those are when it comes to what Chalt is, just to make this a more coherent, cohesive product. That would be my one recommendation. So what are the benefits? Stronger player interactivity, which leads to increased immersion. Immersion being key to the whole thing. Makes sense. Reinforcing the path of Chalt, obviously. And demands that GMs as well as players stay on their toes, ready for improv at the drop of a hat. For the role-playing experience to remain organic, it must be freed from the strictures of predetermined outcomes. I agree with that as well. Being able to do improv, really quickly at a drop of a hat, like it says, is paramount. It's just to me, it takes a lot of time and a lot of sessions and being comfortable with the game. So who decides? Ultimately, the GM decides, but the player can also offer up their own idea. Now, the one thing about this is I would probably have these be secretive. I wouldn't let everybody know that, like, humor is coming up, or sleaze maybe, I don't know, pop culture, mainly for humor, because I find humor is the best when it's kind of out of nowhere. So I would have a way of doing these kind of secretively. So it says that he uses them whenever a player uses them. The player gets a divine favor. And divine favor is a meta currency used in his Crimson Dragon Slayer game and his Chalt games, which can be spent to reroll any die that players just rolled, or it can be used as a player who's just failed his attempted action. Now you're gonna have to, I think, really work with that. It says instead of earning divine favor, this stimulated Chalt X card can be used to turn that situation, now imbued with the card's designation, into at least a partial success. For tables leaning towards diceless mechanics, this optional rule cuts out the middleman. So, and then he's obviously VentureCon 3, Revenge of the OSR is coming up. And then here are the cards that you can cut out: Eldritch, Gonzo, Science Fantasy, and Post-Apocalypse. All these are fairly easy to understand kind of what you want. Something maybe dark and sinister, something kind of wacky, some kind of basic science fantasy stuff, maybe some spaceships or whatever. And then Post-Apocalypse, something from the past that you now see changed and altered through time. I can get that one. Now, humor, like I said before, I'd want that more spontaneous. Sleaze, I think this would probably be the card that's used the least, but you never know. There's a lot of people that start drinking in their games, and they want to get crazy, especially in Chalt. And then pop culture, that one's going to be pretty easy to throw up. And grindhouse exploitation, that's probably the one where I would want a definition of exactly what that is within Chalt and this product altogether. So there's also his books at the end, the 3 Chalt books. It's a neat idea, and I could see this being used in other games as well, not just in Chalt, obviously different designations, but it's not bad. So yeah, check it out, and if you like it, let me know what you think about it, and thanks a lot for watching.